represent. Go, rest in peace.
Holy fuck, that's a nice salon.
I hit the record button. I did hit the record button this time.
Okay.
This was the last time I didn't hit the record button at all. And, well, yeah. Well, here we go. This is Scissor Me Now, the podcast. And this is Raven?
Yeah.
Okay, and basically, like, alright, so whenever I rent cars now, or like I'm driving around town, I'm like, well, I don't know, like, you tell me, like, how do you picture, like, I get around town? Because I kind of just magically show up in salons, and I don't have any idea about how my clients even perceive me at all. So, like, when
you literally just fly into salons, like, fly.
So
you don't live here, right?
No, I don't live here at all, so basically, like, does it seem like I just sort of just magically, like, show up?
Yeah.
Like, there's not even, like... So from the plane all the way to the salon, there's actually, like, not any, like, way that I show up. It's just, like, I just magically appear.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, well, I use this, like, ridiculous, Airbnb sort of thing for cars. Oh, this is perfect.
No!
This is, like, the best thing that could happen. Is this for real?
This is for real. This has happened already 3 times today.
Oh, like the fire alarm's gone off? Oh, dude, just totally roll with it. I'm totally into it.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like,
It should shut off soon.
So Raven Salon, there's no fires, nothing ever catches on fire here. It's just them being overly cautious, you know, with, like, you know, like people carrying guns in the salon. But when I come here, I only, like, rent one car now, which is a Toyota Prius. And when I drive it for, like, the first time, I was like, I feel so safe right now. Like, when's the last time you ever saw a cop pull over a Toyota Prius?
That's true.
It's never happened, like, in the history of Priuses.
And that's why you got it?
Alright, have you seen Grey's Anatomy?
No.
Okay, I would never watch that show either.
Okay.
But, however, like, I was looking, and there's this, you can take that if you need to, but there's this black doctor who's on the show, and he's I guess he's big on there. His name's Isaiah Washington. And he kept getting pulled over in his Mercedes SUV. I think it was like a $90,000 car. And so he was so fed up with it that he traded his car in so he could buy 3 brand new Priuses. And since then, he's never been pulled over, like, ever since.
Oh my god, I need to get one of those.
So I'm totally a fan of the Prius, like, entirely, because I just can't get fucked over by it.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
So, wait, you were saying something, we met at Boutique?
Yeah.
That's so wild, because,
yeah,
like...
I know. That's why you just fly into places. I'm like, what? Where do you live?
Where do I live?
Yeah.
Dude, so so when I was in Austin, like, the very first time I was in Austin, South by Southwest was going on, and I didn't realize, like, how hard it was to find, like, a hotel or, like, any place to stay here. So I don't know, like, how well you know Austin, but do you know where, like, 35 and, like, Runberg is? Mm-hmm. And it has, like, all of those, like, really sketchy hotels on the side.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was my last option, right? To go hit up those places. And there's this one place called the Budget, like, Inn. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can look it up on your phone right now. But I went in, and the first 2 things that I see are 2 Mexican prostitutes walking out. And check this out, it's so gnarly that they even have a fucking Rottweiler behind the desk.
Damn.
Yeah, like, it's that gnarly. And I was just like, can I see a room? And, like, there's no price sheet or anything, so they're just, like, peering into my eyes, and they're just like, there's no room for you. And I'm just like, what the fuck? What is this? So, I come back another time, or whatever, and then I'm like, you know, can I, like, go see one of the rooms? And they're like, sure. And the reason why I wanted to see it is because I'd done a little bit of research on the Budget Inn, like, before I went back the next time. And if you search, like, Budget Inn murder, like, there's straight up, like, a lot of articles about, like, dead bodies being found underneath the beds and shit. Like, it truly is, like, a place where people, like, do meth and, like, fucking like murder each other. And, like, you know what I mean? Stuff each other underneath beds.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so this is where
Wow.
that's where I was gonna stay.
Okay.
And then I had my pickup truck with me at the time, so I had a lid.
Mm-hmm.
So like amongst like all my scissors, like I was like sleeping in the back of my truck. But at nighttime it was like cool. But in the morning I would start to like cook. So I would like if you were just like picturing me on the side of the street, you would just all of a sudden see this truck back just start like coming back up, and this like Asian dude like sweating
Oh
his
my
like
God.
face off.
That is funny.
And that's how I did South by for like the first like couple days. And then I met this kid named, no name, I won't name him on this, but
Yeah.
like I met him at Toulouse over on 6th Street. And Franklin's was doing a barbecue thing. And folks, in case you don't know, Franklin's barbecue is arguably some of the best barbecue in the country.
Yeah.
How many people stand in line for this?
Like all day, like from 6 in the morning to like noon, and
Yeah,
then you
it's-
might not get it.
Yeah, it's
They might
preposterous.
sell out.
Like you actually have to show up at twilight
Mm-hmm.
to be able to get this barbecue.
That's Twilight.
Yeah, I mean it is. What? It's a poetic way to get barbecue. So you have to show up at this crazy time, and Franklin's was doing something at Toulouse, and this kid, he was sticking his finger like into the barbecue sauce with his pinky, and then like, well, he's well known around town, so like they're just like, Lopey, don't do that
Yeah.
shit. And whatever, Lopez, you're on the podcast now. So we're both sitting down, and this is like the one moment, like if like someone told me like singularly like how did you like become integrated into Austin, it happened over this moment. So we were both sitting down, and we were like watching whatever the WNBA was on, and like I just like knew that she was gonna miss this free throw. Not because she was like a center or anything, just she chucks it up in the air, it just completely misses, right? It's not even a good miss, it's just a horrible miss. And I'm just like, oh my god, women's basketball sucks. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, I don't mean this in a sexist way at all. It's just that if you watch the WNBA, you'll see what I'm talking about. And immediately he was just like, dude, I know, right? And so then that's how like we kind of started talking, but we didn't even come close to becoming friends yet. So I was wandering around South by, and I mean, this is 6 years ago, you know what I mean? So people aren't like, 6 years ago phones were still ghetto. I mean, we're talking like S3 back in the day, and so everyone was printing stuff off by paper. Lopey had Lopez, he had this huge like stack of papers in which he like stapled together, and he would just flip through it and just find the right one, and he would get entry into somewhere. So he saw me walking down the street, and he was just like, you come with me right now, and grabs me by the collar of my shirt, spins me around, and then
I've turned it off.
Ravens.
I don't know how to work technology.
You don't know how? No, dude.
No, I put it on off, and it keeps coming back on.
This is-
Select. Oh, I have to push select to save. Sorry, y'all.
No, this is actually a big thing we talked about yesterday, which is that like all of us, like including like Michelle, like you and I. Okay, so I think you have my business card.
Uh-huh.
Like it literally like it's just a picture of my face,
Uh-huh.
and like it got photoshopped where like the words out of my mouth were supposed to be, Aaron's Asian, but he doesn't know anything about computers. And so I just cut that part out and then just like made it my business card.
That's awesome.
So yeah, I don't know anything about technology at all.
Me either.
So yeah, so that's how like so Lopez pulled me around, and then we went and did I think Phoenix was playing, and we got into this show, and he had this friend named Johnny who like was an aspiring like actor, but he was kind of a good actor. Like they all start in shitty places, but
Yeah.
he was actually like he was good in a way in which he can con people. So like he convinced I don't know what he convinced them we were, but like we got back in, and I remember like Lopez being done at the end of the night, and he's just like, "Where are you staying?" And I'm just like, I'm just gonna go sleep in my truck." And he's just like, "Dude, don't do that." So he's just like, "We're gonna go find my car. We can go crash in my house." Well, he was convinced at this point that I'd been with him for the entire day, and I knew where his car was. So he was yelling at me, being like, "Aaron, where did we park the fucking car?" And I'm just like, dude, I met you at Toulouse. You know what I mean? Like 5 hours ago. I have no idea like where you parked your own car. So think for a second. And he like, we walked all over downtown. We couldn't find his car. Well, so there ended up being this like abandoned mansion, I think, over on 9th in San Antonio. And it started to rain, and he had an umbrella on him. He's like the most prepared South by person ever. And he pulled out his umbrella and just sat beneath a tree, like in like this mansion's like backyard.
Oh.
And I was just like, I was on probation at the time, so I was just like, Lopez, I'm gonna go figure something else because I can't get in trouble. And then he got like real dark on me, and he's just like, you think you're in some real trouble? You don't even know what I've been through. And I'm just like, oh fuck. So like I like go and I like disappear. I actually end up like sort of like staying up until like Whole Foods like opens. So as soon as I opened, I bought like a slice of pizza, and then I just fell asleep on the table. I didn't even eat the pizza. Like the pizza was just still there. I love how all my clients right now are finding out how much of a degenerate I am. But, so this is like what really happened. And the next morning he called me, completely sobered up, and was just like, hey, it's Lopez. Do you remember where we parked the car?
Oh my god.
And I'm just like, this is so crazy. And I'm just like, no, I don't. Like, and he's just like, well, can you come? And then he's like, well, can you come help us look for the car? I'm like, well, what the fuck? You know, I don't know what the fuck else am I gonna do? I'm gonna still sleep at Whole Foods. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm at Whole Foods. Come get me. We're in the car, driving around forever. He still can't find it. So we end up going to his friend's house, and her name is Holly. Her last name's Wood, and her mom, like, she lived on Rainy Street, and she lived in this crazy condo, and that's how I met my first couple friends in Austin, and that's how I got started up here.
Cool.
And what happened was cars that actually got stolen.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I got parted out.
Oh.
So.
That sucks.
No, but that's
a good story, though.
But it's actually a really big thing at South by that I came to realize.
Oh my god.
Are you more embarrassed or are you more pissed?
No, I'm like pissed because it's been happening all morning. And these poor people getting their hair done. It's so loud out there. It's like not loud in here, but out there it's like.
Deafening?
Yeah.
Do you step out and address the masses?
Probably.
Alright, go do it. Go address the masses.
Oh, okay, never mind. They're working on the electrical in the building. Yeah. Okay.
Alright.
Nothing we can do. Nothing we can do.
So yeah, that's kind of how I got like glued into whatchamacallit, like Austin and stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, so did we seriously meet at Boutique?
Yeah.
How?
So you used to live there, right, in Houston?
No.
Oh.
Oh no. So Houston has like the dopest hostel ever.
Oh.
It's literally someone donated like their mansion to become a hostel, and it's over in do you know Houston pretty well?
Mm-hmm.
So do you know where like there's Westheimer?
Yeah.
And what's that street that goes through like Kroger? Is that Studemont?
Maybe.
Okay, so over on Lubbock Street, like Lovett Street,
Okay.
is where like this like mansion is, and it's crazy because like in all the hostel, like the organization, I think it's called Hosteling International.
Okay.
So there's no, like out of all their locations, there's just kind of like normal or like cute or something, you know, by like the ocean. This one was like a full-on mansion because in Houston, like if you don't have a car and you're just a tourist on foot, there's nothing to do. So this hostel became just like this animal house, and it was wild.
Fun.
Yeah, and it only cost like, I think like $27 there to stay a night. And they just like decked it out. It had like a ping pong table, it had like 2 pools,
What?
barbecue, like 50-inch like TV, like movie theater room. It was crazy. Yeah, and like when it was brand new, like, dude, you know how people are with brand new shit. They fuck it up, right? That's what they love to do. So yeah, it was a fun time staying in Houston. And then I remember going down to Boutique for the first time, and remember just thinking like, wow, everyone's so friendly here. Like, because like usually I run into like a little bit of resistance, you know, with what I do.
Yeah.
But no one had like like anything, and I won't name the sharpener, but I just remember like this sharpener that exists like in the city of Houston, and if you got your shears sharpened by someone else, he would yell at you.
Oh, I don't know if I ever did. I wasn't there that long.
And he came to your guys' like shop pretty often, and so that was like the main reason people were willing to even talk to me, is because I literally would not yell at them. That was it. I had like no other like there's no other like necessary sales like thing to go along with what I was doing. As long as I didn't yell at people in your salon openly, I would be totally fine.
That's cool. Yeah, I don't know how long ago that was, but I remember I bought a pair of shears, probably like, I mean, I still have them, they're really long, like 7.5 inch.
Yeah, no, I
The sharp one.
Yeah, I discontinued those.
Yeah.
So after Boutique, what happened?
Well, I just wanted to get out of Houston, and I wanted to move to Austin. No reason at all. I just knew I wanted to do it.
Were you born and raised Texas?
In Houston.
Okay.
Yeah. So, you know, after like 20-something years, I was like, let's just go to Austin. So we moved here, and it's been a game changer in like every way.
And your last name is Camacho, right?
That's my married name.
Camacho? All right, not to be confused with a light-skinned Mexican. This is actually a real white girl.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you come up here, and so this is the real question I wanted to ask you. Is a lot of people have these aspiring dreams of like wanting to open their own salon, right? But starting in a place like Boutique, and just to describe what Boutique is for everyone, how would you describe it?
A factory.
Right?
Yeah.
It's very much like a factory salon, and the idea of like, if you told your coworker that you were going to open a salon, they would think it was preposterous.
Oh yeah.
It's not like that type of like environment where like you have a lot of power. It's almost like you're sort of like really run through the mill.
Yeah.
In that situation.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm very curious as to how like you went from this very much like you are like another brick in the wall, like, and I mean this with no offense, like, you know what I mean, like you're another brick in the wall to this, because this is amazing.
No, thanks.
So how'd you do it?
Well, moving here, I never even thought I wanted to do that. Like, I didn't know I wanted to open up my own salon until about a year or two ago.
Right.
So I was always like,
What would have been the alternative path?
Nothing.
Nothing?
No. I was kind of
Some like Larry David shit? He came. You did nothing.
Yeah, yeah. I never wanted to be like an educator. I think the only thing I would be like interested in would be like platform work.
Well, you have been doing some serious educating recently.
I
So
have.
how has that been coming about?
It's different because it's with my team. You know what I mean? Like, but like doing real education, like working for a company or like independent educating, I don't really love that. I don't feel like that's not my best skill set. So, but I love to train my team, but they know me and they know how to like understand the shit that comes out of my mouth, because I'm not the best at like.
What is some of the shit that
how-
comes out of your mouth?
Well, like when I'm teaching a haircut, I'm very organic. I don't like, you have to do it this way. You know what I mean? I'm not like Sassoon. I'm not, you know what I mean? I like the hair to move and to like, just, I don't know. It's just different.
Okay, so why do you think that is that we have that in our industry where people are just like so about like one style? It's almost like some weird martial arts shit, you know what I mean? Where people are just like, well, not now, but like it's almost like some back in the day thing where it's just like, no, like Wing Chun's the best, no, Taekwondo's the best,
Yeah.
you know, like no, like Japanese like karate's the best. Like, why do you think that is? Like,
I don't know.
because we're in 2017 and people
Yeah.
still think that there's like legitimately possibly only like one good style.
Yeah.
And I run into this a lot when I'm like dealing with people and trying, you know, doing scissors with people. Because the last things you bought from me were like tiny little shears, right? And so a lot of times people will just be like 5 or nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
There's so many different uses for all of them.
exactly. So
Yeah.
so why do you think this is?
I don't know. I feel like there's like the Sassoon stylist, and then there's like the Ramirez Tran stylist. You know what I mean? And I don't ever want to be a one-trick pony. Even though I don't do a lot of Sassoon, I spent a lot of money going to Santa Monica and learning Sassoon. You know what I mean?
Wait, can I ask like how much money?
I mean, I've only been twice, so I feel like $2,000, $3,000, $4,000.
How much did you really learn?
I mean, I learned a lot. I learned I love small scissors. I really, really do. I feel like
Oh my God.
it's more your hand doing it instead of you know, I don't think I was realizing that I used like big 7-inch shears for like refining, like small like clean lines, and now I understand that there's a difference between the shears and why it's good to have big ones and small ones and in between, and you know, even razors. So I feel like I love the art of hairdressing. I don't really love just one thing, but I know a lot of people are like, no, I'm only Sassoon, or I'm only a razor cutter, or you know what I mean.
I do.
I've never been
I
that
do.
stylist.
I do in that sense, where people are very like resistant towards the idea of like new change.
Yeah.
And well, to be completely honest with you, you know, when I go into the men's grooming industry, and I show them off, what's it called, the newest like thing that I just designed, where like the actual like thumb piece is missing.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why this is, but they're so much more open to it, and women are completely against it. It's almost like the emotional reaction is almost like they're scared,
Yeah.
right? Whereas men are just like, what is this? You know, they're willing to discover it, which is really funny because like women have the exact opposite reaction, which is,
That is weird.
they're more scared.
Yeah.
Instead of like, because they'll hold it and almost like say something kind of like, it's almost like a little bit like very, very, very slightly condescending, where they'll hold it and just be like, yeah, that's not gonna work. You know what I mean? Or just say something like that.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and it tells me a lot about like how open-minded someone is, right? And it tells me that, you know what, you probably cut Sassoon and have a 5-inch scissors that you're gonna use for the rest of your life.
Aww.
But yeah, back to you in the salon and stuff. So yeah, like I said, like, you know, working in boutique and like getting all the way up to this point, it's a very rare achievement. So like, what happened next?
I think well, when I first moved here, I loved it so much, and that's right around the time where like Instagram was blowing up, and so I was like, well, I'm new here. The only way to really build my clientele, because I was working in a brand new salon that had no clientele.
What was the salon?
Red Stella.
Oh shit! Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I know.
So you know Elizabeth Jane.
Yeah, of course.
So she was my assistant, and so I feel like she loves you, by the way.
Yes.
But yeah, so I started working there, and it was like literally a month after they opened, I guess. So, and it's right here, but it's not a lot of people are walking by, like the phones weren't ringing, and I'm like, I'm just gonna do this myself. So that's where Instagram was probably the biggest game changer. So I started posting my work. I started, you know, even when I wasn't busy, I would do other stylists' hair, and I would, you know, just post. And then from there, it just grew, and I got busy. And then I kind of like got to a growth where I wasn't really growing anymore.
Like, when did you notice the change? Like, after you hit 1,000, like when you hit like 2,000? Because I know you're somewhere around like 12.6 now.
Yeah, I think it's 14.
14?
Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
I think it was. I don't really remember growing very fast up until probably 5, and then 10. Yeah. But then now it's kind of like slowed back down. But Instagram changes all the time. Like now their new algorithm is totally different. Like you get much less interaction now because it's like.
Really?
Yeah. It's just like Facebook now. So unless you really go to that person's page a lot, you're not going to see their stuff popping up in your newsfeed anymore. So you kind of have to like keep up with the changes. So you have to like, you know, manipulate social media.
All right.
Video is big now.
Video is big because now, like, I remember when Instagram videos used to be nothing. You know, they used to just be like really low production.
Yeah.
Whatever. But like now it's just like they're very intense, like they're well produced.
Yeah.
And
even the apps are pretty amazing.
Yeah, and you know, I would say that like, you know, there's definitely people that have a better handle on the Instagram game than others. And if you had to give them any advice, what would you give them?
Consistency. That's one thing I tell my stylist, like, you haven't posted in a week. You need to post. Like, and it needs to be quality work. Like, don't post something
Instagram
bad.
Instagram salon?
Yeah. I mean, that's, you know, because we're so new. Like, we really need, you know, people to find us on social media. So not just me and not just the salon.
Really? I feel like you're in a great location where it's just
we are.
Like, yeah.
But it's still, like, the name is new. you know, and the stylists, a lot of them came from salons way down south, so they've kind of had to find new clients, and just some are brand new with no clientele. So
Yeah, where are you farming
Yeah.
your people from?
well, yeah, all over.
All
I'm
over?
full now, though. I'm full. I cannot take any more. I'm good.
How many people do you have in here?
10 stylists.
10?
Yeah.
Okay, that's actually a lot of people.
Mhm. Yeah, it's plenty. Like, I'm all about quality over quantity.
And they're all exactly who you want?
they're
okay.
perfect.
Very
Love
cool.
them. Yeah.
I saw the salon out in Boulder. It's called Voodoo. I don't know how they managed to pull it off, but they are like when they first started, they basically like went like on the internet, looked for like all the stylists that they would like if they could have like a dream team.
And they, like, found them themselves.
They found them themselves. If they could have a dream team, this is who they would pick, and they literally convinced all of them to leave their jobs all over the nation.
They're coaching.
Like these are people that have been there
Wow.
forever. You know what I mean? And they're killing it.
Wow.
They're awesome at what they
Cool
do.
name. I like Voodoo.
Yeah, and they killed it.
See, I didn't do that. I mean, it might look like I did that to some people, but I literally just it happened organically. Like, I think because I do interact with a lot of other stylists in the town and all over the country.
Sure.
I think I just gained relationships through Instagram, and I knew almost every single person here on Instagram. And then when I opened up my salon, they just started coming. They're like, I want to work for you.
That's amazing.
I know.
Like it's crazy. Like, I mean, I know that like you can get a lot of clientele through Instagram. I didn't know you could start a salon through Instagram. That's a really, really crazy concept.
Yeah,
I didn't know that's
it's
how
crazy.
you did this.
Yeah.
So, all right. So you found your spot, and then pretty much just hopped on Graham and just started looking for people.
Yeah. I mean, I really didn't.
I mean, you make it sound very simple.
I know, it was really pretty easy for me. I mean, this was already in a salon, so I didn't, and it was already full staffed, so I definitely had to go through some hard times with those people, because I was like the new person and I was the new owner, and it didn't really work out for a lot of them, which was perfect because I needed to find my own tribe.
Wait,
So-
how long ago did you take over this salon?
Like the beginning of October will be a year, so 8-9 months.
Okay, because I remember dealing with your previous owners,
Oh.
and
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
were not they weren't on top of this at all.
We've done a lot of changes, but we still have a lot more to do. Just aesthetic changes, like the build out and everything is perfect. Just like paint and new furniture, stuff like that.
Wow,
It's
I'm
changed a
completely
lot.
fascinated,
Yeah.
to tell you the truth,
Really?
because I did not. Raven, when when am I gonna find a salon that was like literally just like Instagram created the whole thing? That's an amazing thing, and I don't think Instagram even realizes that they have the power to do that. I mean, the power to do that sort of thing for the beauty world, on such like a casual basis. I mean, if you think about like all that was free. You know, it was all free.
Yeah, I just made a post on Instagram looking for stylists, and then, you know, I'm not saying like every single one worked out, but 99% of them did, and it was all organically, just word of mouth. Like, oh, I know you. Oh, I know you too. I like you, and then you already know their work, and you know if they're good at social media or not, or if they're trainable, or if they
Okay,
fit
so
in,
so these are the things that you look for when you're bringing somebody in.
yeah.
So if they're terrible at social media, just automatically next.
Not really. I mean, I just hired an assistant who doesn't have social media at all, and I'm like, well, that's gonna change. So you're gonna have to learn.
my
Especially
God.
because once she's done with her program, she'll need to like build her own clientele, and
Sure.
it's just if you don't have it, you're not gonna make it. I guarantee you. Like every single day, we get clients calling, asking for someone they found on our like Instagram. Like go to Raven Row's page, and then they'll pick the person they want. There's not really many times where people just call and like, well, whoever. Like if you're not up there and posting, they don't want you.
Well, let me ask you this, because like, let's say you hop on the gram for a second, right? And let's say you were able to do this test where you sort of just take away all the followers, right? You take away all that information, which by the way, it's really psychologically
Oh, yeah.
influential. You know what I mean? How many followers you have,
Yeah.
all that ratio. and you just take everyone's profiles, right? And you put them almost like a game show or something, where you put them like all together, and then you see everybody's work and everything, right? I feel like so much of what I see on Instagram is so similar, and it's so much the same. And even someone like, you know, me, who's like a professional in the industry, and I see hair every single day. I know what's actually done really well. I know what's completely fucked up.
Yeah.
And
Thank
like,
you for calling Raven Row
Hi.
Salon. Alice, from Tuesday to Friday, 9 to 7.
Sorry.
is that you doing the voicemail?
No, that's my receptionist.
Ah.
She's an English accent, so I'm like, you do it. Sounds good.
Guys, this is Raven's basically a salon tips to
Yeah.
open your own salon.
Hire an English receptionist.
Hire an English receptionist.
Yeah.
Get on Instagram. Knock it out. It's not that hard. So like so many of the profiles to me look exactly the same, right? And especially like, God, I'll probably end up talking about this a million times, but unicorn hair.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's all over the place now, and I guess like the big thing that I'm getting at is there is the clear world of, you know, clients seeing what they want, and then, you know, like their expectations, and then what can actually be done. So do you run into that a lot in your
Oh,
salon?
yeah. Every single day.
So when something's completely unmanageable, what do you do?
I mean, well, now we have consultation forms, and we require consultations for almost all new color clients.
Right.
So before they can even book an appointment, they have to come in for a consultation, and then we break it down. We tell them how much the price is going to be, how long it's going to take to get there. It might take multiple sessions. A lot of times.
Like for someone who's like completely fucked, like how expensive is it for them?
Oh, I mean, it could be.
Up to $1,000?
Yeah, if it's more than a typical balayage appointment, we charge $100 an hour. So if it takes 6 hours, it's $600.
What's the longest balayage you've ever done?
I was here one day not too long ago with someone who I think her appointment was at 5:30, and I was here till midnight.
Oh! So...
And she wanted, I mean, she was Asian, and she wanted
she
wanted white hair.
She wanted white hair?
I mean gray, which is the same. It needs to be white in order to be gray. So, and I was just, I've totally talked about this on my social media too, and kind of in a way to scare people to be like, this is possible, but it's gonna take all day or all night or multiple sessions. So would you rather do it slowly or fast? And
Wow, so people are just very committed either way.
yeah, they want that gray hair.
Well, actually, now that we're into it and we're actually like talking color, is your most like demanded service balayage?
Probably,
Okay.
yeah.
Because this is something that I'm noticing across the industry where everyone wants balayage.
Even if they don't know what it is, they ask for it. They're like, can I get that balayage,
Balayage?
and it's like
Bolognese?
Yeah, it's bolognese. And sometimes we'll tell them too, like, it might be a reverse balayage. It might be a color correction. It might be.
What the fuck is a reverse balayage?
Well, that's like someone who is like traditional highlight blonde everywhere, but they want balayage, but you don't actually use balayage to get them to that point. You have to actually do, it's more like a color correction, like adding dark back into their blonde to make it look like a balayage.
That seems extremely difficult.
It is. It's like a color correction. That's probably my favorite thing to do though.
Versus
It's the reverse balayage.
It's the reverse balayage?
Like, let's reverse it, because you're too blonde. And you know, like, if they want dimension or they want a rooty look, you have to add that tone back into their hair. So.
Okay, so here's the one thing, like, so I know, like, how big balayage is in the industry right now, and one of my fears about balayage is that, you know, stylists are creative people who like to do a lot of different things, right? So when you go to classes and you see all this stuff, it's exciting to be able to see new things, and you want to try these new things on your clients, right? I feel like the one thing that clients do, and they're not very aware of, is that they're very, very good at typecasting their stylist, right?
Yeah.
So in other words, you start off as a creative person, and then eventually you just become this balayage person. And I mean, honestly, like, I don't know if that's happened to you, but if you did strictly become a balayage person, would you even give a fuck? Or would
Yeah.
you start to get frustrated?
No, I would start to get frustrated, and I do, and I feel like, but now I've already seen it kind of going back towards foils. Like, even if they want that balayage look, like, you have to use foils in order to get them there. So it's not, now I feel like it's just morphed into like custom hair color, like bringing your car to the painter and getting it custom painted. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you have to be a custom hair painter. So you
This
know,
is
somebody
true.
might get foils and balayage.
But I
And-
feel like you would be very, very, very good at avoiding the trap of being typecasted into balayage.
yeah.
So, if you had any advice to give out there for people who are getting typecasted into it, what would be your advice to get them like out of that so that they can still, like, you know what I mean, like achieve creatively what they would want to get?
Yeah. So I feel like I get that out with like photo shoots, like entering competitions, stuff that I never get to do on a day-to-day basis. Like,
Right.
I don't do a lot of editorial, like funky Sassoon-ish stuff, but when I do get the chance to do it, like, I'll do that.
Oh, okay. So what you're saying is that you have to go outside the salon and showcase your work
Sometimes
to
you
be able
do.
to get
Yeah.
away from it.
Like, I'm pretty sure for the next 2 months I'm booked out with balayage, 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 balayage. I mean, haircuts, balayage, balayage, balayage. So, but I mean...
Why do you think it's so popular? Like, why is it the thing that everybody wants now?
I think it's longevity. People can go way longer in between appointments.
Do you think it's the actual like product, or do you think it's a product of like social media that's influencing people to want to get it?
Probably social media, but I think more than that, everybody's just tired of having highlights. You know what I mean? Like, used to, when I first started doing hair, you either went dark or you got highlights. So now there's just, you know, balayage. I don't even like using that word anymore because it's literally custom hair painting. Like, every single person gets a different type of balayage. Like, some people might get really heavy balayage. Some people might get just a few pieces. So some people might get reverse balayage. So there's just, I feel like it's such a narrow way to say it. That's why when people call and say, I want a balayage, it's like, well, what do you really want? And then I need to see your hair now, and I need to see what you want, because that might not be balayage.
All right, so Austin is actually surprisingly the 10th biggest city in America right now.
It is?
Yeah. But it doesn't like.
Doesn't feel like that.
No, but Michelle made a really good point yesterday. She was talking about how it is this huge city, and she knows it, but it doesn't feel like a big city.
No.
Right? And I think that it just hasn't hit. I mean, the traffic fucking sucks, but
Yeah.
like I think the thing that like hasn't hit people quite yet is that this when you walk down the sidewalk and you just can't even, you know, you're dodging people left and right like New York City style.
Yeah.
So that's why like Austin still has a little bit of its charm left, even though it's full of so many transplants. So, you know, it's odd like living in Kansas City because when you look at people's hair and you look at people going out, so many people just want the exact same thing. And so it's just people want to be blonde. And I don't even know if it's the balayage process. I think it's just whatever people have in their wallets or whatever they can spend.
Yeah.
They turn blonde. And so what I worry about is a lot of, you know, if you don't work in a major city where like there is like, there are people that are like, hey, like I want a pixie and I want to go like, you know, do a graduated like undercut.
Yeah.
And you end up like in the middle of the country where I live right now. And it's funny because like I talk about this, I'll probably talk about this over and over again, how I've lived in major cities my entire life, right? I grew up in an extremely sheltered like small suburb called Redmond where Microsoft was founded. So living in big cities, it's not like I've really lived in America. I've lived in big cities. That's all that it is.
Yeah.
But then when I go out to like the Midwest, or I go out to a bunch of smaller towns, or I go to like, you know, wacky crawfish festivals, that's America, right? That is actually like real America. And then like you see like what's going on with hair and stuff, and it's nowhere near what we're seeing in Austin. Like it's not even close.
Yeah.
And so I guess I wonder. I feel bad for like everyone like, you know, in smaller parts of the world where all they're doing literally is just still, you know, like painting hair like Jessica Simpson had like, you know, a long time ago.
With the chunks.
But this still happens, you know. But
Yeah.
we're so far removed from it that it's not even a thing.
Yeah. And I mean, back to not branding yourself as just balayage, I feel like what you post is what you're going to attract. So if you're just posting balayage on Instagram all day long, well then you're going to get nothing but balayage.
Alright, so what are some good posting tips for the people out there? What should they do?
Lighting is everything. So either...
Or here's the thing, should it all be hair, or should it be something just interesting about them?
It should be both. I feel like it used to just be all about hair. Like a year ago, that's, you know, it was more like just use it as portfolio. Now I feel like you need to put your personality in there because people also want to know who is behind the Instagram. You know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah. And that's when, like, when I was creating my page, I didn't want it to be all pictures of scissors. Because it's just like, how much of a douche would I look like? You know what I mean? If I just had, like, all scissors, like, all the time and shit. So, I was just like, now my whole Instagram page is just, it's a mess. It's literally just...
You need to rebrand yourself.
I branded myself as, like, if you, like, here's actually my whole Instagram process. So, I'll get followers, I think I'm at, like 2,050 right now. And what'll end up happening is that people will email me. No one will ever call.
No.
People will email me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then people will email me or direct message me or add me on Facebook. They'll take the longest route possible to finally get to me. Okay, you know the pain of this.
Oh yeah, we get emails for appointments all the time. It's like you could have just called instead of taking all week to make an appointment.
I'm so glad that you said that because like I have my own frustrations with this. I didn't know it extended out to the industry. I thought people just called. Okay, so people take the longest way possible, and then finally I'm just like, dude, just call me at this number.
How old are you though?
29.
Oh. Yeah, I feel like the
How old are you?
35.
35?
Yeah.
Jesus,
I think I'm 36.
You know what? No one
I
in
don't
the no. Okay, here's the. You don't know.
I don't remember. It's just I quit counting.
Well, here's the deal. It's like no one in the beauty industry actually looks their age.
That's good. It keeps us young.
Well, it's a crazy thing that the beauty industry can do that now, because like, you know, like out in Overland Park where I live in Kansas, I can't tell how old any of these cougars are.
Really? That's dangerous.
It's impossible. It literally is an impossible process.
I don't really know what's happening.
Raven, you have a bomb in your salon.
I know. There's like two people talking. Anyways.
So yeah, no, like you can't tell how old people are. And it's, I remember like when I got into this 10 years ago, I could definitely tell. Now, definitely not.
Yeah.
Because beauty extends, like we're just talking about hair, but when it gets down to like skin, when it gets down to like, you know, like all the other crazy shit that goes with it, you can definitely not tell. I can't tell you're 36. Like, how would I know that?
I don't know.
Exactly. Like, how old you, like, you can, like, tell that I was 29. I don't know. I'm Asian, though, but I'll be like,
that's different.
I'll look
they
like
don't
this.
age.
I know, I'll look like this forever. So, yeah, that's so interesting to me that you were able to get all this done through Instagram. So...
That's powerful. Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I have this one client who, I remember her, like, getting to her first 2,000, and, her name's Caitlin Ford, and now she's at, like...
I think I know her.
Yeah, and she's...
Just through Instagram.
Yeah, exactly. No, like, she is, like, the color queen of the Midwest.
Nice.
And her work is... It's so good. Like, her coloring is just so methodical and so good. You can tell she's one of these people that knows exactly what's going on in the chemical process. Versus, like... I mean, let's face it, there is a lot of color that's done where it's just, like people don't know. Like, I've seen it done at boutique, where people are just like, where's that bottle?
Oh,
you
my
know?
there's watching.
No, and they're just like, I don't know where, well,
Yeah.
we're not naming any specific people, but like I said, like, I've seen it done before.
Yeah.
And they're just mixing, and you're just like, well,
Not measuring. Like,
not measuring, but, like, honestly, like, that's where there's, like, this incredibly, like, fine line in the beauty industry in terms of, like, there's looking good, and then there's feeling good, right? So, like, when you leave a salon, if you had to choose one or the other, what would you choose? A client looking good or a client feeling good?
Feeling good.
Right?
Yeah.
That's definitely what it's all about. And
Or both.
if you can get both,
Yeah.
but
Then
like,
you're a rock star.
but yeah, it's a funny thing because I think everyone sort of realized that like a lot of places realize that they can only get one of them, right? Because like if you really look into the salon culture of a lot of like salons, it's kind of a mess,
Yeah.
right?
And that's why I did this. Because I just knew that, like, you're never going to find that perfect place. And I never want to be working in a suite by myself. And I never want to stay working for someone all the time because it's all about whatever they want to do. So that's why you have to go and make it yourself.
You know, there are a lot of people that work in suites though. What's your opinion of that?
I think it's great for some. Like, you know, like Elizabeth Jane. Like, she was my assistant for like
Sure,
2 months. And she was a firecracker. And I loved it. She had so much passion and so much motivation.
She
was
really
like,
likes hair.
yeah.
A lot.
And I love that. That's perfect. But for her, like, to go and be in her own suite is kind of perfect because she's not one to take being bossed around very well. So she doesn't need a boss. She can be her own boss. You know, so I think it's great for certain people, but then there's certain people that, like, I have a couple stylists who are very busy. They could go rent a suite, but they love the culture of a salon. They love the inspiration that we all give each other and the teamwork. So, and the education behind all that.
Sure. So, yeah, what's your next education process? I mean, it
Well,
seems
right
like
now we're working on really getting this like lab day down, which is another way that you could help not brand yourself as just one trick pony. So we did one already, and I already had like a bunch of salons reach out to me about.
I see your plan.
Yeah.
It's becoming like more transparent to me as like I'm understanding what's going on.
Yeah.
Because like this is like honestly this is a badass salon.
Hey.
And
This office is beautiful, I know, but.
all right, first of all, in this office, like obviously you guys can't see it, but there's just like a ton of condoms just sitting on the top top shelf right there. Raven hands them out to every single person that walks in. It's all about like protecting people from getting STDs. It has nothing to do with promiscuity. Just fucking with you, but
No, I think lab day is awesome. It was actually one of my stylist's ideas. It wasn't even my idea.
lab day.
Uh-huh.
What's lab day?
So it's kind of like, you know, we have education and we have like Wella or Redken or Bay or any of these like product lines will come in.
Oh,
and
so it
do.
doesn't matter. Like,
No, I mean they'll come in and do education all day long, but
Right.
they work for a company. They want you to buy their stuff. Then there's like the independent educators that will come and charge $1,000 a person, and then but there's people like me who have a lot to teach, and my other stylists who have a lot to teach, and so we all just get together as a group
Sure.
on a Monday and we make infused tequila and we order pizza or whatever and just spend half the day like working on stuff that we never get to work on. So like last time we did a bunch of shag haircuts. So
Right.
so a lot of people learn how to do different ways to do shag haircuts. Our next lab day is going to be perms.
You know what? Now that like I'm sitting here and talking to you, I'm super intrigued because now I see like the whole flow of like exactly what you're trying to do, and I think it's very clever. And I haven't seen anyone do it yet in terms of just like being good at the game, because obviously Instagram is going to be our platform for at least another couple of years,
Yeah.
as far as I can see, and it's just going to become more saturated. But being good at it, being able to get all your stylists to come to your salon, and then having exactly like who you want, because you already know who you're looking for in terms of work,
Yeah.
and then taking all of that, and then basically putting them in a situation to not be typecasted. That's a very, very clever way of going about it.
Yeah, plus they're learning while they're doing it and they're getting inspired, and it was like the most beautiful thing in the world when last time we had a lab day there was like certain stylists helping other stylists, teaching them what they know, and then just seeing the work, and it's cool to go through the whole thing, take the before, take the after. The models are like obsessed. Now we have like a model roster of like
Really?
dozens of people who just signed up to be models for our lab days, and other salons reaching out asking, can we come to your lab day?
That's amazing.
So I think it could grow for sure. I love the idea of community
How
over
many
competition.
models do you have?
I mean, probably have like a couple dozen right now.
Really?
I mean, you know, some of them are like, no, I don't want a perm. Some are like, no, I don't want a shag. But then
Right.
we have like,
How sensitive are they to cutting?
you would be surprised. Like last time we had, how many models? Like 7,
Right.
8 models in here, and all of them were like down for whatever, besides one.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have my own hair team, and what's it called? Do you know the clothing brand Fred Perry? Okay, so basically he was like this really badass like English tennis player, won like every like award for like multiple years, and then he decided to just retire, and he created his own clothing line.
Huh.
And so he like basically a polo from him costs like $150. So one of my boys is actually sponsored by him, and Fred Perry has never had anyone shoot like an you know what I mean, like anything for them like outside a house. It's all just been like, you know, done by their own people.
Yeah.
So they had us do it, and we did it in New York City. One of the troubles that I had, you know, was finding models. And so, wow, if you have models, yeah.
It's hard, but it's once you get them, and then you kind of like have them coming back, and you know, in a couple months we'll have another one. So come back and get a perm or get a balayage.
And
or
did you
whatever.
find these models from Instagram?
Yeah.
Like, God, you're so good at the Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm totally into it.
Yeah. It's
So,
so easy.
I guess like,
It's free advertisement. Like if you don't do it, it's kind of stupid.
oh, if you don't do Instagram at all, oh, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's the dumbest thing.
Yeah.
It's funny because I remember, oh, this is what I was going to tell you. So a lot of people, they'll DM me, they'll go through that whole process, and then finally they'll give me their number. I'll talk to them over WhatsApp, and
WhatsApp.
yeah, no, like this is how they operate. Like I'm just like,
Oh my god.
it gets very insane, and then it gets to this point now where it's just like, yeah, I've finally got to the point where I've like actually sent shears like to every single continent.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And it's
That's
all
amazing.
through Instagram. It's
Yeah.
like the reality of it doesn't like actually hit you
No.
until you actually see like in your PayPal like inbox that you've been paid by, you know what I mean, the Prince of Nigeria. You know?
The power of Instagram is
Yeah.
crazy.
I mean
Crazy.
I believe the Prince of Nigeria actually has money because if he's paying
Yeah.
me for shears then
That's hilarious.
then I'm totally into it. No, like
That's awesome.
my mom fell for one of those scams.
No.
So, in terms of my two parents, sorry dad, sorry mom, I had a personal bet that I thought my dad was gonna go senile first.
Oh no.
But it turns out that like I think my mom might actually
Aww.
be the one. Well, I don't know, she fell for a phishing scam.
Yeah.
And she like gave her away her like whole ID and everything. And I was just like, Mom, did you really believe that like, you know, like someone just called her and said like all your computers are hacked?
Oh no.
And I'm like, Mom, you really just immediately believe that? She's
I
like,
bet it happens all the time.
what?
People
Oh.
like falling for that stuff.
Oh yeah, no, totally.
There's like a IRS thing going around right now. Like they've called me numerous times. Like you need to pay the IRS, and it's not them. They're not gonna call you. First of all.
Oh, fake IRS people.
Yeah.
You know, so I had this experience recently where I was sort of thinking about like just certainties in life, right? For example, like when you get to a red light, most of the time, not all of the time, but most of the time, at a very high percentage, when it goes red, people are going to stop. When it's green, people are going to go, right? Like for example, I know that when I open the salon door, it's going to swing out or it's going to swing in, right? When I press this button to turn on the computer, it's going to turn on. So there's a bunch of certainties in life, or you know, when you turn on your hair dryer, it's going to turn on. That we have all these certainties in life. However, as people, we all gamble on each other, right? And so in other words, everything could go completely perfect and according to plan, and it could just go on for years and years and years. And then one day, something happens. And it's funny how, you know, we're all interconnected in that sense, and how quickly things can change just based on the very fact that, like, we all gamble on each other
Yep.
entirely.
That's true. That's a
Yeah.
good way to look at it.
It is, and it doesn't make me any, like, less scared of life, or in that sense, you know, more afraid of, like, anything at all. But it really makes me understand, you know, like, who I'm surrounded by. And makes me realize, you know, that, you know, balayage is really important. And,
Hair painting.
Is that what it really means?
Yeah, I mean-
Your painting.
Well, balayage means to sweep the hair, but that's like a French balayage. Nowadays, I feel like American balayage is not even balayage. It's like crazy hair painting. So, yeah, I don't like the word balayage anymore.
Does your salon honestly do more cutting or color?
I think it's very 50-50. Because there's some
Is it?
stylists that do more color than cuts, but then, like me, I feel like I do equal amounts because every color wants a cut. I only
Right.
have like I think I have one client that goes elsewhere for her cuts because she gets a baby trim and doesn't want to pay $80. And I'm like, fine. It's the same thing. $80 for a trim, $80 for a haircut. But everybody else is totally different. Like, Mandy probably does more cuts than color. It just depends. I feel like we're pretty even, and everybody has their own little brand of clientele that they're building, and it's pretty cool. It's a very good mix.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, if there's anything you want to plug, go for it.
I don't know. I like charcoal.
I like charcoal.
When you put me on the spot.
You can plug anything about yourself.
I'm not good at that.
Huh?
I'm not good at that.
Alright, fine. I'll plug it for you. This is Raven Row Salon. This is Raven Camacho. She's the owner. She's not a white Hispanic. She's an actual white girl who's very, very good at
Who
balayage.
married a Colombian with a Hispanic last name. No, Korean with a Spanish
Wait,
Spanish
what?
last name.
He's Korean with a Spanish last name?
It's complicated.
Right, so her flavor of taco is, I don't even know what it is.
Kimchi taco.
Kimchi taco. Yeah, no, she does excellent balayage work. Not only that, but her stylists seem to have a very good handle on color itself. So, yeah, for color and awesome, this is who I would go see.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and you're done.
Thank
Come
you.
here. It's good to see you.
Oh my god, that wasn't that bad.
Huh?
It wasn't that bad.
No, I told you it was easy.